ladies and gentlemen. My name is Fidelis.
I'm Leanne.
Welcome to Biomedical Season 2. Today, we are honored to invite an amazing guest who brings amazing experience to our discussion. Please give a warm welcome to Prof. Anna. I will give a brief introduction about Prof. Anna. She is the Dean of School of Health Science and from the Department of Applied Biomedical Science and Biotechnology in IMU University. She received her Bachelor of Science with honors in Resource Biotechnology in 1999 at UNIMAS and PhD in Plant Biotechnology in 2004 at UPM. Prof. Anna is really active in the science field, where she is the professional technologist and graduate technologist in Malaysian Board of Technologists, member of Malaysian Society of Molecular Biology and Biotechnology, member of Malaysian Genetics Society at national level. She is also active in at the international level as well. She is the member of International Association for Plant Biotechnology and Society for the Advancement of Breeding Research in Asia and Oceania, which stands for SABRO, and a fellow in Royal Society of Biology in UK. So today, for the very first segment, will be the introduction of the field. So, Prof. Anna, can you provide an overview of your specific field of research within the broader realm of science?
Okay, thank you very much. So I think just based on your introduction just now, right, you know very well that my main area is actually in biotechnology and specifically at the PhD level is more into plant biotechnology. So whenever we talk about plant biotechnology, people may not see that, oh, how plant biotechnology is actually related to my biomedical area, especially when we are in IMU. So actually, initially when I first started my career, just because when I was doing my bachelor degree, I was very happy that I managed to grab a final year project, just like any of the students when you're working on final year project. I managed to grab a project that I can occupy my own lab because when we are working on tissue culture work and plant specifically plant tissue culture work, you need a specific tissue culture lab for you to work on. So that is the greatest achievement at that level that I managed to grab that lab and I work together with one of my classmates and we are working on the lab together with our supervisors. So that's how we started. It's no specific interest that I'm actually interested in specific area at that period of time because at undergrad level we are still very young and we don't really know what is our main areas that we can actually look into in the future. So it's just out of this curiosity and the chances that I have, then develop my further research into specifically into plant area. And when I was graduated in 1999, I have the opportunities to further my studies in plant biotechnology area. Uh, that specifically, that project was just at that time because once I graduated in 1999, it was actually a serious economy downturn in Malaysia. So there is not much of job opportunity at that moment of time. And I managed to search around and I wrote to one of the professors in UPM and she was very happy that she actually told me that, "Oh, I just got a project. And this project is between Malaysia and MIT in US. So it's a collaboration between Malaysia government and MIT in US. So that's how my research career started to work more into plant biotechnology area. So I continued to work on plant biotechnology area for many, many years until I think roughly about 2009. That is the time that when I work in another institution and I realized that the institution is trying to relocate it to another campus. So I'm not keen to move from KL area to another campus. So that's why I hunting around for another job and IMU that is the place that become my next destination. So when I first joined IMU, everyone was telling me your plants research will not survive in IMU because anyone to work in IMU, you need to only work in something that related to medical research. So apparently, then I start to think about because once you are into research already, you will never die. You will always have ways to find how are you going to survive in your research world. So that is the part that I started to explore. How can my plant research now? How am I going to incorporate my plant research into the biomedical area so that I will become relevant to IMU research area. So that is the part that we start to look at plant vaccines production. And then starting from there, I think I explore for a while. The main focus will still be on plants, but looking in terms of plant vaccines production. And aside from that, I also started to look for collaborator, some of the lecturers in IMU. So I started to explore into dengue research as well. I started to explore into even obesity research as well. And after that, I think I stopped on and started to explore a bit more into neuroscience research. But my patience on plant research never died. So that's why you will see that whenever you look at my profile, right? Sometimes if you look at my publications, there are a lot of areas that I'm actually working on. You will see my publications is from certain area until another, from plants until medical, and then after that until neuroscience, and then after that until plant mutation breeding. So those are, I would say that those are three main areas. Plant biotechnology, I will focus on the vaccine production currently, and then in terms of plant mutation breeding, that one also never die from within my heart. And also, of course, neuroscience, I'm still working a bit here and there on neuroscience research as well. So I would say that that is the three main areas now I'm working on. Yeah. People may say that it's not very focused because you're working on three areas, but actually you'll find different satisfaction from there, because you will find that, oh, I'm very versatile. I can in plants, I can work in animal. Normally, you cannot find someone work in plants that will work in medical area. So I think when you are once you are a researcher, you will forever be a researcher in any area.
Yeah. Wow, it's very amazing that you can really see that you're really not in your comfort zone. You really like started to adapt yourself in IMU. Like even though you're having a people say you're not going to survive in IMU because you're plant research, but you try to make adaptation and adjustment by doing research on plant vaccine and how you really go right now go deep into neuroscience and research like dengue and obesity is really amazing to hear from that actually. And then, may I know, like, what are the qualifications to become a biomedical scientist to enroll in the research field?
I think in terms of research field, I would say regardless of any type of research, you need to be very, very passionate about research, because once you are in research area, you don't conclude your results with one single experiments. You need to do a lot of repeats, and sometimes you will just face failure once in a while. And then sometimes the failure will come in continuously within 1 or 2 months. After you did all your experiments, then end up after 3 months, when you collect your data, you see that my results is totally a failure, or halfway through your cells get contaminated. All those are the challenges that we will face. So you need to stay passionate about your own research areas and your research ideas. And the other thing, I think, the other qualification, not talking about academic qualifications, but it's mainly on uh, the personal qualifications, I would say, or I would say that your, what is the correct terms that we should call it? Your personal characteristics that you have will be, you need to try to stay as much as possible, be more dynamic and upfront in terms of research knowledge or in terms of science, because science are ever evolving. You today you will see that you can use medicine A to treat one diseases, but maybe 10 years later, medicine A is no longer applicable anymore. So science is ever evolving, so you need to make sure that you yourself get updated all the time.
Yeah, thank you so much. Then what about for the academic qualification? Do you have any suggestion to our listener who are interested to enroll into research field?
I think for academic qualification is mainly about any science area. I think you will be able to penetrate into biomedical science research. But because when you talk about research in the biomedical area, not normally you will look at three different areas. You will have basic science research, you will have applied science research, and also clinical research. So it depends on which areas that you are interested in. If let's say if you are interested in clinical research, then most probably your clinical knowledge will have to be a bit stronger. But if let's say if you are specifically focusing on basic science research, then biomedical science degree is a very relevant one, because in biomedical science you learn a lot of things about all the mechanisms and all this. So basic sciences research normally they are looking in terms of mechanism, pathways, and all these things. Whereas for applied research is more into how are you going to make sure that your research or your the outcomes of your research can be applied, can you can produce some products in terms of commercialization. Yeah.
can see that. Thank you, Prof. Anna, for the introduction. And for the next question is for listeners who may not be familiar with your field, could you explain its significance and how it contributes to our understanding of the world?
Okay. So I think out of the three areas of research that I mentioned just now, right, I will focus a bit more on the current key issue. Yeah, is especially on the part on plant mutation breeding that I've been working on, and I would say that that particular research has been quite successful because recently you know that we are facing a lot of food security issues, and when you switch on your TV or when you read the newspaper, people are talking about a huge argument about rice. So I think generally in terms of a Malaysia context, right, rice, uh, the self-sufficiency level at the moment, based on the data that provided by the government, up until now, the rice production in Malaysia, we can only uh, sustain for about roughly about 62% of our Malaysian population. So that means another 38 populations may not have enough rice if may not have enough rice if they just rely on our current production within the country. So a lot of our rice are actually imported from overseas. So that is the part that will create a lot of food security issues. If let's say certainly some countries like Thailand or India, because of some political issues, they don't want to import their rice to Malaysia, then our Malaysian population will suffer. So that is one part in terms of food security. And then the other part will be particularly in terms of the environmental issue as well. Lately, you read the news as well about our neighboring countries, and including Malaysia, we are facing a heat wave, a very huge, serious heat wave currently. So all those heat wave and drought conditions as well as the flooding conditions. And just now I just read the news about there is a flash flood in Klang area. Happened like how many times already in 2 weeks' time. So those are actually impacting our environmental component as well. So particularly in terms of rice, if let's say if you have drought conditions or if you have flooding conditions, the rice plantation or the rice industries will be seriously affected. So our 62% of sustaining the Malaysian population cannot be even be achieved. So that's why I think it's very important that in terms of the research that I'm working on currently, we are looking in terms of the environmental impact, the global climate change, how what we can do in terms of overcoming the global climate change to overcome the issues of food security, particularly in rice. Yeah.
So I think from your experience sharing, I think the listener can really realize that how does it contributes to the world, like because of your research that can the data I think can contributes to the uh, other field that are uh, I mean because of your research that can really helps for the Malaysian that can really overcome the food security problem. Yeah.
So, Prof. Alan, just now you mentioned that it's very important to keep us updated. So, may I know, like, how exactly do you keep up with the latest advancement and also the discoveries?
Okay, I think the common things that we are actually doing here is that normally we don't rely on textbooks because the moment that the textbooks is published, it's already outdated. So normally what we will do here is we will follow the journals. We will be updating ourselves through our journals. So like for myself, I actually sign up for some of the journal alerts that normally once they have new publications coming in, right, then they will send the email to us. Then from there, I will know that, oh, what is the latest publications that we have. And of course, I will also have to attend conferences to network with some of the researchers who are in the field, so that we will know that what are the current research that they are doing. Then with the networking from with them, then we'll be able to know what are the latest advancement in terms of technology. And of course, if you look at sometimes in Malaysia, some of our technologies may not be as updated as in US or UK. So that is very important for us that we have to attend conferences. And apart from attending conferences, of course, it's about networking, but that is the greatest things that I think a lot of scientists are also enjoying, because when you are going for conferences, that's the time that you are not only talking about research, you are also exploring cultures and the lifestyle of any citizens in other countries. Yeah.
I also did attend a conference before. It's about medical, but I found like it's a bit too deep for me because all of the participants and the guests, they are like really really professional in the medical field, and also the participants of involving like the conference, they are really like into the medical. They are like year four students, so I feel like because I'm year two right now, so I feel like, oh, that's too deep for me. I cannot with it.
Sometimes you will face that problem. I can't deny that because when I attend for conferences, right, especially those very high advanced level, just like for example, in March last year, I attended the Alzheimer disease and Parkinson disease. This is a very famous conference in throughout the whole world for whoever involved in neurodegenerative research ADPD conference. So when I attended some of the conferences, you will just have to listen, and then you will just have to follow what the presenters presented in their presentation. Sometimes I myself will also get lost as well, but I think that is the time that when you are lost, then you write down some of the points, what they are actually talking about. And then after the conference, you come back and then you Google search. You search around and what are the informations that they are talking about. So when you have time, you really go and read through. I think that is the part of improvement that we can go through. Yeah. So don't give up when you listen to something that you don't understand. That is the new knowledge that you will start to acquire. Yeah.
That sounds like a really dynamic process. So now let's talk about the misconception. So what are the common myth or the misunderstanding of people like have about the scientific research process?
Scientific research. I think normally whenever we talk about research, and I'm sure that all of you, when you do your practical sessions or anything like that, normally you will expect to have all the positive results. If I don't get positive results, then it's wrong. But in research, actually, if you are getting a negative results, if you run through some of the experiments, you find that, oh, this specific drug is not effective, for example. So the negative result is actually a result as well. So research is just anything that you are doing, you are exploring, not necessary that every time you need to have positive results. It's just that when it comes to publication and all these things, of course, people will try to look at positive results, but negative result is actually something that we are looking forward as well. Because from that negative results, you will start to redesign your experiments. That is the time that you really work your brain to the maximum. Yeah. So I think normally people will say, oh, you are doing a master's or you are doing a PhD or you are doing your final year project, you must have positive result. Not necessary. So don't be bound to the idea that you must have positive results. But of course, if you want to graduate, you will need to get a positive results, most of it to be presented in your thesis. But when you get a negative result, that is the time that you readjust your mindset, you redesign your experiments. So don't treat negative result as something that is really negative.
I think negative result is also like one of the result, because if like for example medicine, like if we get the negative result, then we know that, oh, this is not effective for that disease, and we can like find out more, or maybe like the pathway metabolism is not really effective in this medicine. So I think it's really important to also get the negative result inside, like despite of the positive results. So let's talk about the ethics. So what are the ethical considerations or the challenges do you encounter in your research?
Mm, Ethical challenges. In terms of ethical challenges, previously we really worry about uh, the in terms of ethics, people will not carry out their experiments in an ethical manner. But nowadays, since we are moving into AI, I would say that in terms of ethics, I would say that people start to use AI a lot in terms of publications that will lead to plagiarism. I think that will be a more critical issues currently. It's no longer the things that we are worried that people will start to create human beings or anything to human cloning or all those things. But now there is another different worries that we are facing now in terms of plagiarism using AI, because AI is just moving too fast. Just at the beginning of the year, or end of last year, we heard about ChatGPT, but now you can see that there are so many other tools that they are available for any researchers to use it. So what we are really worried is that the researchers now, they will just type in any type of questions, and ChatGPT will generate the write up, and then this write up is submitted without any validation in terms of their findings, and just be published, because nobody knows that whether this is really generated by AI or not. It's very difficult to be detected at the moment, and we don't have any specific tools to detect whether the writing is by AI or not. It's just basically based on human reading and review. So that will be a main challenges that I will see uh, currently and also moving forward in the future.
I also feel like because AI is just like for me, I think AI is just like a tool for you to like do and research, but it's not like completing all the part. It's very important to like read some journals, articles, and then get the information from it. So yeah, so
Yeah. And then to add on, like, because one of our Dr. Fabian and Dr. Chitra, because they are in charging of the AI, if you ever know, and then they really give us a really good advice where we can use AI tool wisely, but not to abuse them. Because I don't mention the name, uh, some of our classmates, they really abuse the AI tool because for me, I really don't like it. It's because like what you say just now is the ethical problem. Because when we are doing our reports, you should do the research, and at the same time, when you're doing the research, you are learning as well. But then some of our classmates they really abuse the AI tool by throwing the question into the ChatGPT, and then ChatGPT will just generate all the answers for them, and then they don't even know whether the information provided whether it's creditable or whether it is validable, because you don't know whether the resource coming from, because we're going through those kind of articles which are like maybe we see the thing like DOI and then publication where is it, to see the validity and accreditation. So I really agree with Prof. Anna's point. Right now it's a very big challenges we're facing for, yeah. And then right now I will be continue the question, so we'll dive into the question about the experience in research field. So Prof. Anna, what inspired you to pursue a career in research scientific field?
I think there are no specific reason I would say at the moment when I started with research. It's just mainly the opportunities that are given. It seems like things has been tough in that manner that I will have to go through the processes like that. And just very lucky enough that I during my PhD level, I managed to work with all these MIT scientists. Because at that time when I was doing my PhD, every 3 months we will have to meet up with MIT scientists to present our results. And on their side, they will come over to Malaysia and present their results. So I would say that the way that they bring themselves as a real researcher, and then also uh, the way that how committed they are into the research is the part that actually influenced me a lot. You see a totally different set of people that in front of you, those very committed researcher and those very knowledgeable researchers who are really in front of you, and that is the part that I think become my role models, that one day I should behave like them. So I will have to equip myself with enough knowledge so that I'll be able to act like them, and they become your role models like, and become your mentor. Because it's the most important things that if you want to become a researcher, you need to look upon someone who I can actually look at, so that that researchers will be the one that I want to follow the step on. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. And if you mind that, can you share a brief overview of your current research focus or projects? But I think you have mentioned just now
Yeah.
about the plant mutant. Or is there any research that you are going on as well?
I think currently I focus a bit more on the plant mutation part, whereby I want to generate the new rice variety using radiation techniques. So radiation techniques here can be any type of radiation like gamma radiation, or and also we collaborate a lot with Malaysian Nuclear Agency for the radiation, as well as because Nuclear Malaysia, they also collaborate a lot with Japanese with uh, Japanese researchers. So we are also looking in terms of producing a rice mutant using ion beam radiation. So all these are using a radiation to speed up the mutation process. So they don't under the Biosafety Act, right? They don't consider this mutant line as the genetic modified organism. Although there are changes in terms of genetics, but they don't categorize it as a GMO, because in a natural environment, all these mutations also happen naturally. It's just that now we use ion beam or we use radiations to speed up the mutation process. So I think that is my main focus currently, lah, because you will see that when you talk about research, right, you always come to your mind that whatever issues that are happening now, that is the one that will be the most interested research that we'll be working on. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, true. And how do you approach the process of designing and conducting experiments in your research?
Okay, so I think just now I actually answer some of it.
Yes.
It depends on the current issues. Still remember when I managed to secure a research grant from from Ministry of Higher Education under the scheme they call it as ERGS, the exploratory research. I worked on the plant vaccines project at that moment of time. So at that moment of time, I think they are having a bit of issues about rotavirus infection on children. So it gives me an idea that I should work something on the plant vaccines to produce plant vaccines in rotavirus plant vaccines, plant vaccines that against rotavirus. Because the main thing about plant vaccines here is that if we are able to produce these plant vaccines, we are hopefully we will be able to let the kids consume the plants. Once they consume the plants, hopefully they will be they'll be vaccinated. Because children, you know that when you have vaccines, right, they don't like to be injected with vaccines. They don't like the jab. So if we are able to work in that manner, then by using plant vaccines, there will be a very good alternative. And of course, you have some other advantages like a halal issue and all these things as well. So this give me the idea there. So these research questions come in because of current issues. So whenever I have current issues that should trigger a researcher to come up with new ideas. What else can I do? How can I relate it with my area? Then from there, with these current issues, then after that, I will discuss with my team, whoever that will be interested in a similar area. And normally, as a researchers, we have a team of people, team of researchers that we always work together. So we will discuss and then we start to search around for literature review, whether this has been done, this has not been done. If some areas that has been covered and what else we can do. So those are the things that involve a bit of teamwork as well. Lah. It's current issues plus how you want to address them. Then after that, your teamwork to look at a complete proposal and then you look for proposal, you submit proposals to look for funding to do the research. Yeah.
It's a very interesting process. I hopefully my final year project. I'm a Sem 2 student only anyway. Hopefully my final year project can go smoothly. Anyway, for the next question, but I think all along the discussion you have answered a bit here and there. So the question is, what role does collaboration play in the field of research? And can you share any memorable collaborations you've been a part of?
Okay. So in terms of the collaborator, right? Because none of us will be expert in everything. You can expert in A and B, but you cannot be expert in X, Y, Z. So that's why teamwork is very important in research as well. So, like for example, for my research here, I always need my collaborator to complete what you call it, complement whatever that we don't have. So, like I'm a plant person, but I may not be good in molecular work, for example. So, I need my collaborator to be good in someone who is good in molecular biology work to complement my research area. Then only you can become a complete research team. So, I think currently, I have a very strong research team from different, with a Malaysian Nuclear Agency, with other public universities, as well as with other research institutions, specifically for the rice research, because rice is really a big issue that we are facing now. So everyone is jumping into research on rice. So that's why the research team is quite huge. So, I think in terms of the plant mutation breeding or rice mutation project, actually, the whole team here, we are able to receive some awards from different, or I would say that receive different recognition from overseas and also locally. So, like for example, the research team in 2021, if I remember correctly, 2021, the whole research team on plant mutation breeding actually received the uh, outstanding achiever Outstanding Achievement Awards from IAEA, International Atomic Energy Agency, as well as a FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization. So that was in 2021. Of course, the main player is actually Agency Nuclear Malaysia, but all of us actually contribute towards that awards as well. And then for that particular project as well, even in 2017 and also 2020, we actually received the Excellent Research Team Awards as well from FNCA. FNCA is actually a collaboration, nuclear collaborations between Malaysia and also some other countries that led by Japan. So FNCA, the full name is actually Forum for Nuclear Cooperation in Asia. So it's mainly targeting on Asia region. Yeah. So those are really a very good recognitions that we actually receive from international level.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Hannah.
So, Prof, as our peer into future of research, so what emerging trends or technologies are you particularly really excited about in your field?
Okay. So for me, I would say that AI again. AI, just now we mentioned about we are worried about AI for plagiarism, but AI, if we use it, if we don't abuse it, can be a very, very useful tool. Like for example, if let's say if we are talking about, I use the example for rice again. If we are talking about rice, because rice also, the production of rice is affected because rice is actually infected by a lot of diseases. So if we are managed to use some AI technology to do analysis and to tell the farmers that, oh, now at this stage of time with this type of symptom, that means your plants is actually being infected already. So now you should put on more pesticide or anything like that to help the farmers. I think that will be very, very useful tools. So the terms that we normally call it in these processes, sometimes they use the terms as a precision agriculture, or to be more general terms, they call it as a smart farming. That means you don't go and keep on putting the pesticide on the rice, but you only put the pesticide, you only apply the pesticide when you know that the rice are infected. So in such manner, you will help the farmers to reduce the cost of their field management because without using a lot of pesticide, this will reduce the cost because pesticide is not cheap. It's very, very expensive. And by applying a lot of pesticides, it's not good for environment as well. That is really against the One Health concept that I knew is a is telling nowadays. Mm.
So sound promising. So, what are the other trends you see shaping in the future of research?
Okay, other trends, I think to look at how research can be done in space. Yeah. So I think because that comes in because mainly I am teaching one of the lectures about research in space. And that is talking about the bioprocess technology whereby you will have to carry out some processes uh, in the space. And normally, like if let's say if you want to do any extraction or anything, in on Earth you can use the centrifugation because centrifuge will help you. But in space, centrifugation may not be applicable anymore because there is no gravity, nothing to help you with carrying out the extraction process, or even things like just sedimentation. Because sometimes, if let's say you just leave the samples there for a while, and then the cells will sediment, the microbes will sediment at the bottom of the solution. But this is not applicable in space because there is no gravity to help with the sedimentation process. So if we are able to do some of that type of research, I think that will be very, very interesting. Yeah. It's more of interest in terms of the trends that I'm seeing. Because the trend now is that people start to go into space already. People go into space for space tourism. So hopefully, and another maybe another 20 years, by the time you are active researchers, then you can look into that research in space.
That sounds so mind blowing. So, now looking ahead, what do you envision as the future of scientific research, and what areas do you think that is particularly important?
Particularly importance, I think, will be global climate change because of the real issues that we are facing with the global climate changes, with unpredictable climate change. And also, I think another area will be on the food security, like what I mentioned just now. These two areas, I think, will be quite a lot of focus by any countries or any government, most probably for another, at least for another 10 years, I would guess. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Anna. Before we wrap up, here are a few questions. So, what opportunities exist for aspiring researchers who are interested in entering your field? What advice you would give them?
Okay. So for the researchers, I think the most important thing as a young researchers, right? The main thing you need to equip yourself with the basic knowledge or basic foundation first. The knowledge has to be there. Or else people ask you, why you design these experiments? I don't know. Supervisors ask me to do so. It's not the valid reasons that you should tell because you are now a researcher. So you need to equip yourself. You need to do a lot of reading first. And then the next thing you will have to look at what is my expertise, what is my specializations I want to focus on. Do I want to focus on just on molecular biology or I want to focus on microbiology? So you need to know your strength so that you will know that which areas that I'm actually interested in. So from there, then you start to uh, capture the skills and you start to polish up your skills, make sure that you are competent. Competent in the level that not competent at that moment of time, but competent in terms of upgrading yourself all the time, updating yourself all the time. Because if let's say if you're working in molecular biology area, the skills are moving too fast. The knowledge, the technologies are moving too fast. So you need to get yourself updated all the time. So I think that would be the real advice that have to be for every young researcher. You need to have the knowledge, you need to have the skills. Then with the skills, then you look forward for a good mentor to help you. That is very, very important. A good mentor that you can really admire that good mentor. It's not just that because that mentor is having research grants or I'm following him or her, but you need to have someone that you can really look forward and admire him or her so much. Then from there you will really respect the way that they are doing things and you will excel.
Yeah, true. I really agree with that point. And this is quite out of the topic, but how do you engage with the public or communicate your research findings to a broader audience?
Normally, I think on my side here, right? Normally, we'll just attend some of the events. If let's say they have any specific events that are involving, like for example, the normally this for my research, the rice research involve a lot of government initiatives because the citizen, the population is the one that we want to address on the food security issue. So we will have to get involved in some of the activities organized by government, some of the exhibition or things like that, to tell people that we are actually doing the research on this specific rice and what is so special about this rice. And sometimes I think my collaborators also they work out a lot with they go around and talk to the farmers as well. They organize workshops and to tell the farmers how can you actually do a better field management. How can you grow the rice, the new varieties that we actually established. So those are the things that we are working on. And of course, some minor things that we are working on, like social media. So we social media is very powerful nowadays. So any activities that we are doing, we just post it in Facebook or in Instagram, then people will start to know. Mm.
Yeah, true. Thank you, Prof. Anna.
So, a special thanks to Prof. Anna, the generously sharing her wealth of knowledge and insights to our listeners. So, as we wrap up today's episode, what key aways do you hope our listeners have gained from today's episode?
Key awareness. Okay, I will say that once you are involved in research, it's something that is really very interesting. You should be passionate about it. Don't ever give up. I think in terms of research, you don't ever give up. And sometimes you will just feel like you are feeling down because you don't get the results. But just take a rest and refresh your mind, and you can start all over again. Can never give up on research.
I also do agree with it because for now I'm doing my research also. So I felt really stressed and tense when I get like doing the literature review. But I feel like if I really get a result, in no matter it's like positive or negative result, and I'm really proud of myself because I can do this such of things very professional.
Yeah, because not everyone can do research. Because some of the people they are just not born to be a researcher, so they don't have that critical mindset. They can really think about how am I going to modify this research to make it a better research. So I think once you are gifted with that talent, use the talent to the maximum. Don't waste your talent.
So thank you, Prof. Anna, again for those insightful reflections. And to our listeners, if you found today's episode is informative and enjoyable, be sure to subscribe our YouTube channel account and our podcast on Spotify. And don't forget to leave us a review. If you found any comments or some suggestions for a future episode, feel free to reach out to us on our Instagram official page at LionISBS_IMU. So thank you for tuning in today's episodes of Biomedcast Season 2, and we will catch you on the next episode for more fascinating discussions. So,